If you were planning to take a break from Pokemon Go during this week, I would suggest against that because there is actually going to be a lot of really great content this week that you will not want to miss out on. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know regarding this week in Pokemon Go. Hey, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your week is starting off really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so this past weekend we of course had the Global Wild Area event, and I will say it was extremely fun. I had a lot of really great moments this past weekend, and I also collected a lot of Pokemon that I did not expect to get. I went about this in a little bit more of a casual way, even though I did purchase the Go Pass and a whole bunch of other things. I did not go all out like the previous year, and in relation to different events like Go Tour and Go Fest, I felt like Niantic added a lot more to this Wild Area event in order to get a lot of players on board. And they certainly did a really good job. I thought this event was absolutely stellar, and I think a lot of players just had a lot of fun this past weekend. So of course, because it is the week after something major like the Wild Area event, I think a lot of players were thinking maybe they could take a break, maybe they could spend this time to restock on Pokeballs and just casually catch Pokemon here and there. But I actually think that is going to be a mistake because there's a lot of really big stuff happening this week, and I think it's going to be a major follow-up to the Wild Area event that we just had. So let's first talk about the in-game event that's going to be happening during this week. It's going to be called the High Voltage event, and this event is going to be featuring a whole bunch of shinies that you will probably want to get considering how rare they are. So let's go over the details for this event. The High Voltage event is going to be starting on November 18th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until November 22nd at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. And the featured Pokemon for this event is going to be Morpeko. And the thing is, with this Pokemon, it's going to have a shiny debut with this event. And this is something that they indicated with this particular event, but shiny Morpeko has a chance to be encountered from field research, paid timed research, a collection challenge, as well as the Go Battle League, and surprise snapshot encounters during this event. Next, let's talk about the wild encounters, and they only list 3 or actually 4 of them during this event, but I think all of them are pretty interesting. First and foremost, we're going to be seeing Emolga, Dedenne, and Togedemaru in the wild, and there's also a possibility for encountering Shinx, and every single one of these can potentially be shiny, and when it comes to Emolga, Dedenne, and Togedemaru, those are actually quite rare shinies, so it's very interesting that they're going to be included during this event. Next, let's talk about the event bonuses. So during this event, you're going to get double the amount of experience for nice throws or better, and you're going to get double the amount of Stardust for every Pokemon you catch. And there's going to be an increased chance to get shiny Emolga, shiny Dedenne, and shiny Togedemaru, which is incredibly exciting. Now, there's also going to be a paid timed research during this event, and if you were to buy it for $4.99 USD, you're going to get 2 premium battle passes, 1 elite charge TM, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon. And specifically, I think that Morpeko is going to be one of these event-themed encounters. So if you want to get yourself shiny Morpeko, this one might be worth purchasing for this specific event. Now, also during this event, there's going to be a collection challenge, which is going to give you experience Stardust as well as an encounter with Morpeko, and there's going to be field research tasks with encounters with event-themed Pokemon. And like I said earlier, this is probably where you could potentially get shiny Morpeko. The key thing is with this event is that Morpeko is not going to be a wild spawn, but it will be obtainable from field research tasks and all these various other forms. So I do think this is going to be one of those events where you will want to be as active as possible. Right, so aside from the High Voltage event, there is actually going to be a Dynamax Battle Weekend that's going to be happening this coming weekend, and it's going to be featuring the Pokemon Dynamax Eevee. I think this is going to be one that a lot of players who actively engage in Dynamax content will not want to miss out on. Let's go over the details for this event, and then afterwards let's talk about the weekly content. And keep in mind, some of the weekly content is actually the stuff you will want to pay attention to, and trust me on that. We'll go over it afterwards, but let's first talk about this Eevee Max Battle Weekend. Dynamax Eevee Max Battle Weekend is going to be happening on November 21st at 6 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until November 24th at 9 o'clock p.m. local time. This is going to be a weekend where you will be able to get one of the most versatile Pokemon in Pokemon Go, and that is Eevee. Now, there's also going to be a whole bunch of Eevees in the wild, so if this is a particular Pokemon that you really enjoy, then it's going to be a pretty solid event. And then, of course, we're going to have the following event bonuses during this weekend. We're going to have a half adventuring distance to receive max particles, which I think is a good way for you to get max particles for these battles. And then you will have power spots, which will refresh more frequently, and then double the amount of max particles from power spots. So they really want to get you out there and do these Dynamax battles. There's also going to be collection challenges. I'm assuming you're going to be required to get all the Eevee evolutions, so do keep that in mind. Considering that some Eevee evolutions have different requirements, you will want to be prepared for this one. Alright, next, let's talk about the weekly content because, like I said, there's a lot of things here that you will want to pay attention to. First and foremost, let's talk about max battles. We're going to have both forms of Toxtricity in max battles starting tonight with Max Monday, and these are going to be available until November 23rd. If you need either amp form or low-key form Toxtricity, then make sure you go out and do these max battles. And then, when it comes to 5-star raids during this week, we're going to see the legendary Pokemon Heatran, and this is one of those Pokemon that is actually considered top tier, especially when it comes to fire-type raid attackers. So, I would suggest you farm up as many Heatran as possible, not necessarily for a Heatran itself, but specifically for its candies, because if you were to ever come across a 100% IV Heatran or a Shadow Heatran, that is one Pokemon you will want to make sure you have enough candies for in order to max it out. And then coinciding with Heatran, we're going to have the following Pokemon in Mega Evolution raids. You're going to be able to get Mega Ampharos as well as Mega Manectric Mega Energy. Both of these Pokemon are going to be available until the end of the week, so if you need these Mega Evolutions, make sure you go out and do a couple of those raids. And then next, let's talk about the Spotlight Hour, because this is definitely one you will not want to miss out on. We're going to be getting a Spotlight Hour this Tuesday featuring the Pokemon Sableye, and there's going to be a double catch Stardust bonus on top of it. The reason why this is so important is because Sableye gives you bonus Stardust when you catch it. In fact, it gives you 750 base Stardust per catch, and that means with the Star Piece, you're going to be able to get 1,125 Stardust per catch. And if it's weather boosted, you're going to get 1,406 Stardust per catch. This is actually massive because when it comes to Spotlight Hours, they boost the spawn rate of these Pokemon by a tremendous amount. And on top of that, you're going to get double the amount of Stardust because it's a double Stardust catch Spotlight Hour. So this is going to be a huge way for you to get almost millions of Stardust within one Spotlight Hour. You do not want to miss out on this one. Alright, and finally, let's talk about what's going to be active within the Go Battle League. And keep in mind that we are going to see the end of the season really soon, so if you need to get higher rating points in order to get a better Stardust reward at the end of the season, then you will want to fully utilize these next couple of weeks. During this week, until this Tuesday, we're going to have the Open Great League, Open Ultra League, and Open Master League, and then afterwards we're going to have the 2025 Championship Series Cup, and then there's also going to be the Open Master League Mega Evolution Edition, which means you're going to be able to use Mega Evolutions, and that's definitely going to make things very interesting. If you have a very solid team for either of these cups, then you should definitely utilize them for this week, because we are going to be seeing the end of the season on December 2nd, which is going to be in just 2 weeks. So yeah, this is everything that's happening this week in Pokemon Go, and like I said, it's not going to be a good week for you to take a break. If anything, I would still be in top gear for collecting a whole bunch of Pokemon, especially for that Spotlight Hour that's happening tomorrow. That is going to be a big one, because not only are we getting a bonus Stardust Pokemon, but we're also getting that Stardust bonus. So yeah, Stardust is always the most important resource in this game, and you absolutely do not want to miss out on this opportunity to get yourself a whole boatload of Stardust, especially after the Wild Area event, where I'm sure you're going to have a whole bunch of Pokemon you would like to power up. And when it comes to hyper training, there's going to be certain tasks that require you to power up Pokemon as well. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for you to stock up on Stardust, and you do not want to miss out on that. And aside from that, there is of course a whole bunch of different in-game events that are actually really good, and I think there is a lot of potential for you to get some really exciting moments. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really stellar week, and I am definitely looking forward to it. And with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there something in particular during this week that you are looking forward to? Are you going to go all out for that Sableye Spotlight Hour? Definitely share all of those thoughts in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget the notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to every single one of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Content channel, the best way you could do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you decide to become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to personally add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts, all that good stuff. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you're always welcome to do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms you see right now on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. And that'll be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, have yourself a really great week, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와